let's talk about the lead singer
On a
of
not
Iron
so
Maiden.
light note.
Yeah, on an even lighter note, Paul Di'Anno, the original singer of Iron Maiden, passed away today. I was looking to find the cause of death. They're not saying, maybe they don't know yet. I don't know that it was suicide or anything, but anyway, this is probably Steve Harris that posted this on Instagram from the Maiden Instagram account, and it says, "We're all deeply saddened to learn about the passing of Paul Di'Anno earlier today. Paul's contribution to Iron Maiden was immense and helped set us on the path we've been traveling as a band for almost 5 decades. His pioneering presence as a frontman and vocalist, both on stage and on our first 2 albums, will be very fondly remembered, not just by us, but by fans around the world. It's just so sad he's gone," comments Steve Harris. "I was in touch with him only recently as we texted each other about West Ham and their ups and downs. At least he was still gigging until recently. It was something that kept him going to be out whenever he could. He will be missed by us all. Rest in peace." And there's one more slide here. "We were very grateful to have had the chance to catch up a couple of years ago and spend time with him once more. On behalf of the band, Rod, Andy, and the whole Iron Maiden team, we extend our deepest sympathies to Paul's family and close friends. Rest in peace, Paul." So I actually had to, I have some more stuff here from, we can read this first before we talk about. So he was 66 years old, first Iron Maiden singer. Paul Di'Anno dies at 66. Di'Anno sang on the British metal icon's self-titled debut in Killers before departing the group in the early 80s. Paul Di'Anno, the first singer to record the British metal icon's Iron Maiden, has died. Conquest Music shared the news on behalf of Di'Anno's family, but did not disclose the cause of death, noting only that the musician had been troubled by severe health issues in recent years. Di'Anno was 66 years old. Di'Anno was born Paul Andrews in England in 1958. He was invited by Iron Maiden's founder and bassist Steve Harris to audition for the band in the late 1970s. "I more or less realized that Maiden had the potential to become a successful international act, provided that they found the right lineup, and mostly the right frontman," Di'Anno recalled. "Maiden had other singers before, but none of them had either the voice or the personality required to make the band a world-class success. That's when I auditioned that I realized my voice fitted metal perfectly, and that although I'd never sung this kind of music before, I was the one. Maiden needed to become huge. And so Steve's incredible confidence in his music and his band convinced me to accept the job right away without asking myself any questions." Di'Anno, with Harris, guitarist Dave Murray, Dennis Stratton, and clever drummer Clive Burr, released the first Iron Maiden studio album in April 1980. Di'Anno made just one more album with Iron Maiden, 1981's Killers, before he was replaced by Bruce Dickinson, who still serves as the group's lead vocalist. After leaving Iron Maiden, Di'Anno launched or joined numerous groups, including Di'Anno Gomaborg, Battlezone, Killers, Praying Mantis. He also made several albums and recorded autumn with his former Iron Maiden bandmate Dennis Stratton. Di'Anno released his memoir, The Beast, in 2019.
2010.
2010, sorry. There's I think that's it for that one. Yeah, so that's from Pitchfork. And anyway, I spent today kind of listening to the first 2 Maiden records because I honestly haven't listened to those 2 records much.
I know there's one song off that first album that I would recognize if I heard it. I forget the name of it.
It's Iron Maiden.
Yeah, probably that one.
That's the one I recognize too. That's one that they still play quite a bit because it's their it's Iron Maiden from the album Iron Maiden.
They're self-titled,
yeah. So
yeah, that's dope.
And Killers has some really great stuff on it too, like Wrathchild. It was kind of like the breakout song on that.
So I don't know this. Did he leave the band after the second album, or did they just part ways with him? Did something happen?
That's actually a really good question.
And they got Bruce Dickinson.
I don't know why he left the band. I don't know if he left the band or he was fired.
Yeah,
that's a good question because I was looking for that in this article, but the article didn't really cover it. So let me go to Wikipedia real quick and see. And if people know in the comments, chime in and let us know. But by 1981, Paul Di'Anno was demonstrating increasingly erratic behavior, particularly due to his drug usage. So about which Di'Anno comments, "It wasn't just that I was snorting a bit of coke, though. I was going for it nonstop, 24 hours a day, every day. The band had commitments piling up that went on for months, years, and I just couldn't see my way to the end of it. I knew I'd never last the whole tour. It was too much. Di'Anno was dismissed following the Killer World Tour, and the band had already selected his replacement after meeting with Rod Smallwood at the Reading Festival. Bruce Dickinson, formerly of Samson, auditioned for Maiden in September 1981 and was immediately hired. So it was drug use, apparently, that...
Interesting.
I feel like
it sounds like... What's that? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like there's a lot of musicians back then that got let go for substance abuse, and they should have started their own band called The Bus or something like that.
Yeah. We did this bit, me and Dryden, on the last stream we did with Paul Stanley, and he had this great quote where he's like, the Steve-O and those guys were asking him, they're like, how have you been able to like do this for so long and like, you know, not lose your mind and stuff? And Paul Stanley goes, well, you know, like at some point you roll up your sleeves and do the work to get to know yourself, or to know who you are, or you roll up your sleeves and jam a needle in it. But I was like,
I just don't feel like that. I'm kind of glad too. Like that era is done. Like the only way to make it nowadays is to be smart and run your business well, you know. And I'm happy when I see these bands promoting sobriety and things like that. I just think it's a lot better influence.
Yeah, I mean, there was a period where, by the same token, you know, a lot of my favorite art was made by people on drugs. So I'm not like
for sure.
I'm not against it either, but there's like a point where you have to check yourself. And I think in that era, like especially in the 80s, they didn't know when to do that. Like you watch those. Yeah. Like the video of Chris Holmes. Have you seen that? Like we played on the Wasp, like when Eric played the Wasp clip of him just like laying in the pool.
Yeah.
Himself.
A bigger star than you.
Yeah. Once you get to that point, you kind of, it's like, whoa, pump the brakes a little bit. And, you know,